Hello you guys, it's me Kiana coming at you yet again today, and I'm just coming at you to show you before you actually put your chicken into the oven what it should look like. And this is going to be a spicy garlic rosemary baked chicken. And what I did was I bought regular wings in a tray, and to save on money I dejointed them myself, and I actually show you in a previous video how you can actually dejoint your wings and where you should section it off at so that it could be an easy process for you. This chicken, what I did was I put the garlic and the crushed red hot peppers on one side, but then the other side I left it available because Daddy is very picky about what he eats, and also Pootie doesn't need to have the extra spice as far as the hot peppers. So the other side I just left plain with a little bit of seasoning and a little bit of crushed rosemary. And you want to bake this on about 375, and you want to bake this for about 25 to 35 minutes. Making sure you check it because I like my baked chicken just a little bit brown. The reason why I like it to be brown is because it creates somewhat of a crunchiness, and it makes you think that you're eating um, fried chicken a little bit. So that's why I like mine to be very brown. So this is something that you can leave and then just come back after you've done your chores, or after you got yourself together, or after the kids have been sleep and they wake up. This will be a meal that's already done. It's just basically prepping it and getting it into the oven. That's going to take maybe a little bit of time, maybe about 5 to 10 minutes. Um, going to show you how it looks before you actually put it into the oven. We're just taking a basic cooking sheet, and this is how it looks. Okay, and as you can see, this side has the garlic and the crushed red peppers, and then this side has just the seasoned chicken and the rosemary. So this just basically gives you a tip on how you can actually um, cook two different meals at one time, in a sense. For if maybe your husband doesn't like certain spices or whatever, then you just section it off and just make sure his portion doesn't have that on it. But this is how it looks before you put it in the oven. Alright, so you can imagine how it's going to look once we actually cook it, you guys. As far as the seasonings I used, if you didn't look in the other video, make sure you check that out so you can see what seasonings to use. And what you want to do is you want to lightly sprinkle that seasoning on both sides, you guys, because you don't want one-sided good flavored chicken. And I hate that. So you definitely want to make sure you do it lightly. That way it's not over salted or anything like that. But you want to basically season it on both sides, but do so lightly. All right, you guys, and now we're just going to go ahead and fix our roasted asparagus. And this roasted asparagus we're going to fix is a bacon wrapped one. As far as sodium, you guys, I'm making sure that I do not eat a lot of processed foods. I do not have high blood pressure issues. I've never had them. Um, So when my ankles actually swelled up, it was because I was eating processed foods literally every day, all day long. So I don't have an issue with processed foods. I do have an issue with eating them excessively, or eating them to the point where it's several times a day. As far as having bacon and a little bit of salt or the sunflower seeds, many of you have shown concern about that. It's no need to be alarmed or concerned, you guys, because I can have salt. I just don't need to have salt or processed food, because processed foods have salt in it. I don't need to have that several times a day. But to actually just have bacon wrapped around my asparagus, you guys, that's not a problem. So, um, being that I haven't eaten any processed foods whatsoever, not only just today, but about for the last maybe 3 days, I haven't. And what I want to do is just limit it probably to once a day, being that I have to eat up to 5 times a day, once a day having something that may have a processed food in it, and making sure I restrict myself on how much of that. I don't think that that would be a big issue. So what I'm going to use is I'm going to make sure I use the thick cut bacon. I have just your regular standard Smithfield naturally hickory smoked bacon. Um, this bacon has 0 carbs in it. And what you want to do is you want to have a non-stick pan, and in that non-stick pan you want to have just a tad bit of canola oil just so it coats the bottom and it doesn't stick. Now you got to remember that the bacon is going to expel its own oil, so, and its own grease, so you don't need much of that. All right, so what I'm going to do at this time is just cut the ends off. Okay, cutting the ends off of my asparagus. And I will zoom the camera down for you guys so that you can see. I'm trying not to show you guys any body shot because I want to surprise you guys. So I'm going to be very careful not to do that. But this is the first batch that I already cut. Okay. I don't like these ends, you guys. Some people do, but I just don't. I don't like how it looks. Alright. I'm going to go ahead and do the whole bunch. That way I won't have to cook this for the next 2 days, and I'll have this available. This is also a great item to have on hand as a snack. So, but as for me, I like to have a little bit of vegetable on the side of my lunch. So for lunch tomorrow, I'll have this on the side. Okay. And what we're going to do is we're going to wrap the bacon around these asparagus sticks, or spears, the actual term is. Alright, making sure that we clean up as we go along, making sure you keep your rag next to you as well as the trash can. That way you won't be overwhelmed and have to clean up a lot when you finish. Okay? Now, you're going to take your thick cut bacon, and as you can see, that's a pretty long piece of bacon. So what we're going to do is we're just going to simply slice that. That way we're not having too much bacon as well. And you're just going to wrap that like so. And you're going to wrap it in a fashion like that. Okay, so it winds up being a tube of bacon in a sense. And you're just going to lay that down in your pan. You're going to repeat the process until you're finished. Again, each piece should be wrapped in a half of piece of bacon. Okay? And what you can do is make sure that when you go under, that you tuck it like so. Okay, like that. And then place it down the pan. Alright. And for this amount of asparagus, you're probably going to need about 8 strips of bacon, because we probably have about 16 of these. Okay, so 8 strips of bacon, we're going to cut them in half. It winds up actually being less bacon and less fat than people would think. And again, you stretch this out over the fact that, like I said, I can have this available. I'm just cooking it all at once, but I'll have it available to me for 2 days. So this is something that, and this is a great point to mention right now, that Atkins diet, in any diet, you definitely want to make sure that you plan your meals out, which takes time, and many of you are short on that. So you definitely want to take the opportunity when you do cook to cook a little extra. That way you'll always have something prepared, even if you just make your own homemade TV dinners by just simply using a paper plate and wrapping it up in a Ziploc bag. Okay? And that way you'll always have a healthy or carb friendly or whatever diet that you're on, low cal or whatever, you'll have it available to you at any given moment. And that also gives you a great plan to not have to, be scared that you're going to go off your diet because you'll have something available at all times. So let me go ahead and continue this process, you guys. I will definitely show you the end results once it's ready to plate for dinner, and that will be later on. Pootie should be waking up in probably about 15 minutes. Let me go ahead and get Nene's snack out because it's now 2:10, and she'll be home in about a half an hour after I finish this. I can go ahead and do that, get her snack ready, and be ready to greet her. So I thank you so much, you guys. Make sure you comment, rate, and subscribe. Be blessed.